morning everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Modern Homesteading with Tessa. I'm Tessa, where I teach you how to feed yourself and become more self-sustained, less dependent on the grocery store for your food. So today, what we are going to be doing is making one of my favorite things ever, bone broth. And not just any bone broth, we're gonna be making smoked venison bone broth. And we affectionately refer to it just as buck broth, and we love it. So follow along and I'll show you how we do it. So if you watched my pickle video, I said that canning season is kind of winding down, the garden is kind of winding down, and that I wouldn't be doing much more canning unless somebody got a buck. Well, lo and behold, someone got a buck. Sweet. So our friend got this black-tailed buck and gave me the bones so I could make bone broth. We're making it smoked today, so bone broth, I'm not going to get into all of the health benefits. There's a million videos on that, and so I'm not going to get into that here. But you can either roast your bones in like an oven, or you can roast them in a smokehouse. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to put them in the smokehouse and smoke them, kind of a high heat smoke for a few hours, and really get these nice and browned and smoky and delicious for our bone broth. So let's head out to the smokehouse and get these bad boys on the smoker.
So the first thing we need to do is build a fire. So we don't use like chips or anything. We just use oak firewood that we get from the ranch, and so we have the oak smoked flavor, and we don't have to buy anything. Oh yeah, there it goes. Oh yeah, he wants it. Okay, so while our venison bones are smoking, we're gonna go ahead and get our aromatics going. So we have celery, onions, carrots, parsley, and garlic. So this is, so I grew about 200 heads of garlic this year, and I braided all the really small heads of garlic into this braid, knowing that this was going to be one of my uses for them. You know, all like the cloves that are like so small you don't even want to peel them for anything else. And so the beauty in using these for stock is that we don't have to peel them. We're going to be straining it all off, so we're going to leave the peels. We're going to leave the peels of the garlic, of the onions, of everything. So we'll pull off a bunch of small cloves for the garlic. Our carrots we already did earlier, so those are good to go. So our celery, I'm not going to use the actual stalks. I'm going to use those for something else, but I am going to use all of these leafy tops. So I'm just going to start at the top and rough chop my way down. Doesn't have to be pretty at all. That smells so good. So I'll probably take about that much, all these, and I will use the celery in like soups or something like that, but I don't really want to waste it on the stock. So we'll put those in there. Okay. Then we're gonna do probably like half of this parsley. We don't need to do all of it. And again, you know, actually I'm just gonna throw it in there. So then the onions, we're gonna cut off the root end, and then we're gonna just cut this like in half. That's good enough. And we wanna leave all of the skin because that really imparts a really deep, rich color and flavor to your stock. So then our garlic, I'm just gonna go through and pull off some of the smallest bulbs off of this braid. That's probably good. And then we will just chop off the root end like that. And then what we're left with is just, these aren't too terribly small, but we're just gonna throw all of that right into our bowl. All right, so there you have it. We have our celery, mostly the leaves, parsley, garlic, and onions. The only other thing that I'm gonna add to this is some whole peppercorns. Okay, so our bones are out of the smoker, and look how beautiful those are. Oh my gosh. They smoked for about 4 hours, and I did a really hot smoke, so it was like half roasting, half smoking, but they really have a really rich, super smoky flavor or smell, aroma to them. And so now we're gonna load everything up straight into the All-American, cover it with water, and then we're gonna pressure cook it, which will take much less time than boiling it on the stove for hours. So let's get all this stuff in there. There's one arm, two arm, and one hind quarter. The other hind quarter on this deer didn't make it. All right, so there's our bones in there. Then we're gonna add in all of our lovely aromatics. So that was our onions, carrots, celery, parsley, get all the garlic. That can all go in there. Oh, yum. All right, so our bones and vegetables are just covered with water. So we're gonna add our lid and we are gonna pressure cook this at 10 pounds for 3 hours. Which might sound like a lot, but that's a lot better than doing this for 24 hours on the stovetop. Okay, we are back. Our bone broth has been cooking at 10 pounds of pressure for 3 hours. I turned it off a couple of minutes ago, so it's still coming down from pressure. But once it is, we're gonna pick out all the big bones and everything, and then we're going to strain the liquid through this colander lined with cheesecloth. We're gonna strain that directly into this bus tub, and then from the bus tub to the jars. So, let's see if this thing's ready yet. Ooh, almost there. Almost there, just a couple more minutes. I got it over here. You guys didn't want to see that anyway. It wasn't pretty. All right, so now we're gonna start straining. So we're just gonna scoop and try not to get too many solids in there. Oh, it's beautiful. I wish you guys could smell this. It smells so rich and smoky and delicious, and like I want to eat it. Smells like I want to drink it on a cold winter day in a mug. Oh, look at the color on that. Isn't that beautiful? All right, I have all that beautiful, beautiful bone broth strained and separated from the solids. So now we are going to go ahead and ladle that into our jars. And can you guys see how gorgeous that is and how much we got? It's amazing. So let's get to work on filling our jars. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could smell this. Look how much there is. So, some people would chill this and then remove any fat that solidifies at the top. I don't, for a couple reasons. One, in most kinds of broth, I like the fat there, like in chicken broth especially. I like for the fat to be there. And two, with venison, there's so little fat, especially on the bones anyway, that you're really not going to get very much fat at all. So it's really not worth it to me to take the time to cool it down, chill it, remove the fat. I would rather just, it's already hot, get it into the canner. You know what I mean? All right, so there we have it. We ended up with 32 jars. So the next step, we are going to wipe the rims with vinegar and put a lid on and a screw band, and then we'll get them into the canner. Okay, our rims are all clean and wiped with vinegar, so we're gonna throw our lids on there. So they say the old way of warming your lids up prior to canning is no longer necessary. I don't, and I have really, really good seal rates. You do what you want in your kitchen, but I don't warm them up. It's just one extra hassle that I don't want to deal with and doesn't make a difference. So, and these are the lids from Layman's, and we buy them in bulk in these sleeves, and that has been by far the best way that I have found to buy lids. So these are great. They're super loud when they seal, they pop loud. So when you're tightening your jars, what works best for me is to tighten it to fingertip tight, like whatever 2 fingers can do, and then just do a little bit more. You don't want to crank it down because some gas does need to escape, and you also don't want to leave it loose. So that's the happy place. They buckle more too if you really crank them down hard, but yeah, that's what works for me. All right, so next we're gonna get the canner ready. So we're gonna fill about 3 inches of water in the bottom of the canner. And then these All-Americans, they don't have a rubber gasket to fail, which is awesome. But it means you do need to lightly oil the rim with some kind of oil. So we just use some cheap whatever oil, and you go around the rim and just give it a light coat of oil all around the rim. If you don't do that, it can get stuck together, which isn't the end of the world. You just have to like pry it apart. And I've forgotten before and it didn't get stuck together, but you're supposed to wipe it with oil. And then let's get our water in there. That'll do it. And we'll start loading in our jars. All right, so we have 28 jars double-deckered in the All-American 941. I have 4 jars that wouldn't fit. Dang it. But that's okay. We'll just bust out the handy old Presto. So now we're gonna get the heat going and get these bad boys up to pressure. All of this stuff, all the scraps, is gonna go to the chickens, so nothing gets wasted. Let's go feed our scraps to the chickens. Hi, piggies. Do you want some too? These happy pigs. We'll share it. And over here. Oh, they like it. With your Presto, you line up your arrows and twist. With your All-American, you line up this arrow with this notch and twist. Then we're gonna put this on like we're putting a tire on a car, so alternating, you know, like lug nuts. And we'll tighten them all down. Okay, then we're just gonna wait for this to vent for 10 minutes. Our Presto is already venting, so we're going to vent that for 10 minutes and then we'll put the weight on. And then these need to pressure can at 10 pounds of pressure for 20 minutes. Alright, our Presto has been venting for 10 minutes, so we're going to pop the weight on there. Alright, so our time is up on the Presto. It has gone for 20 minutes, so we're going to turn our heat off. And the All-American still has 5 more minutes, so we'll give that one another 5 minutes. Okay, and the All-American, the time is up on that one as well. So we're gonna turn that off, and we're gonna let these come down from pressure naturally and let them naturally vent. If you try to pull this off of here, you'll cause major siphoning in your jars, and then when you open your canner, things will explode. You'll have stuff stuck to the ceiling. So just be patient. Let them come down from pressure naturally, and just let it take its time. When you're checking, if you hear any kind of sizzling from this, it's not ready yet. So just be patient. All right. Our gauges say we're down from pressure, but this, ooh, there's still a little bit of heat there. This one, there's no sizzling at all. So this one is ready to go. This one, not quite there yet. And I know it's tempting to just pull this off, but don't do it. You'll cause, like I said, siphoning. It's a bad deal. Don't do it. Just be patient. Okay, so the Presto is all done. So we're going to pull this lid off. Always open away from your face if you like your face. And let's pull these out of here. Ooh, oh, you hear that? Oh my goodness. Like I said, ah! These jars seal so loud. This one hasn't gone yet. Let's see if it goes. Ah! Ah! They all sealed. That's awesome. I love these layman's lids. I haven't tried the 4 jars lids yet, but I would like to. But I mean, I'm pretty hooked on these Layman's lids. And they're made in the USA, which is super, super cool. Always buy USA made if you can. Okay, so that one's done. This one still has a few more minutes. All right, let's check the All-American and see if it is ready. Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay, so again, taking this lid off like a tiger. I rushed it. There was that little sizzle. I thought it'd be okay. Stuff's getting angry, so I put the lid back on. It's settling down in there. We're gonna leave the lid on for a couple of minutes longer. Okay, let's check again and make sure everyone's gonna be happy about this. No exploding. You need another minute. Alright, I think it's done now. It's cooled down enough. Let's check on it. Oh yeah, we're doing alright. Like I said, you don't want to rush it. Alright, come on out of here, guys. Oh, look at you, so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Oh, pop! Ah! Oh my gosh, I love these lids. They just pop so loud. This makes me so happy. Isn't that like one of the happiest parts of canning is like after all this work you've put in and then you get this, what? Oh my gosh. Oh, wiki wiki. Nice. Whoa! Whoa. 4 times 8 is 32. Look at that. Do you know how cool that is? 32 pints of smoked venison bone broth, buck broth. We use this stuff all the time. So last night we had hamburger steaks. It's basically like you'd make meatloaf in a patty and then you cook it, but it's called hamburger steak, and you make gravy with it. And we used, it was actually smoked elk broth, but we used this to make our gravy. And we put it in chunks. Anytime I do sorry. Anytime I do a crock pot recipe, a crock pot recipe you need some liquid in there. I use this stuff, and it imparts such a rich, smoky, flavor. This stuff is absolutely delicious. If you hunt or you know anybody that hunts, then you know the bones often get wasted. Like, you know, people feed them to their dogs or just dump them back in the woods or, you know, whatever. But this is such a beautiful, beautiful way to honor the animal that you harvested and get everything that you can from that animal. And this is an awesome way to do it. This is making use of parts that often are just discarded, and you're getting a really, really awesome product out of it. This stuff is super, super good for your gut, super, super good for your health. This stuff is so good for you. If you're feeling under the weather and maybe you're having trouble keeping anything down, this stuff, you just warm it up in a mug, add some salt, and just sip on it, and it's like the only thing you want to eat, but it's so good for you, and it's high in protein and tons and tons of nutrients and minerals in it. So it's really good stuff. So thank you so much for coming along with me while I made my buck broth. And I hope that this has inspired you to save those bones from your deer, or reach out to somebody that you know that hunts and say, hey, if you save your bones, you know, from your deer, I'll give you a dozen, and if you give them to me, I'll give you a dozen jars of buck broth, because as you can see, we made almost 3 dozen jars of buck broth. And they'll probably be all about it. And then, yeah, it's absolutely worth it. It's an all-day project. When you do it smoked, I mean, you want to roast them either way, but when you do it smoked, it is an all-day project. But look at this, 32 jars. Like, I can use one every other week for a whole year, and that's a whole year from one deer. Well, this was 3/4 of a deer, but I digress. This stuff is amazing, and I hope that this has inspired you to go for it and to do it and to make your own buck broth, and appreciate every single part of that animal that you were lucky enough to harvest, because it doesn't happen every year. And so making use of every part of it is a big deal, and this stuff is awesome. So thank you for joining me on my channel today. Thank you for following along with this, and I appreciate you guys liking and following. And I'm super new to the YouTube thing, but I'm not new to this stuff, so thank you for bearing with me through technical difficulties. Thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.